Guys, what's up? It's Chris from Daily Tech, and this is my list of the top 5 Apple TV games for early 2016, plus a few that you definitely want to avoid. Now, I've actually wanted to make a video about Apple TV gaming for a long time, but I've held off because I was just waiting for a few better games to appear in the App Store. And if I sound a little bit disappointed, it's because I kind of am. This just wasn't the gaming experience that I was really hoping for from the new Apple TV. Now, the truth is, gaming on the Apple TV is not bad. It's really not bad at all. It's just not like a console experience. So you're definitely not going to get the crispy graphics that you would get with a PS4 or an Xbox One, and you won't even get the same kind of game selection, really. And the main culprit for this is that Apple placed a 200 megabyte limit on the file size for developers for Apple TV apps. And just to give you an idea of how small 200 megabytes actually really is, if you were to play any of the Call of Duty games on a PS4, for instance, those would range in file size for the install from about 30 to 40 gigabytes. That said, there's a lot of fun to be had gaming on the Apple TV. You just have to make sure that your expectations are set appropriately. So what kind of games should you expect to see on your Apple TV? For the most part, by and large, these are games that came from iOS and have just been tweaked to fit on your TV. Now, obviously, this list is pure opinion. People have different tastes, but hopefully by the end of this video, you'll have a good idea of what's out there and what you might want to avoid. And I should note too, these games are not really ranked in order. It's just 5 games total. The first game that I want to talk about is Geometry Wars Evolve. Now, this game's actually been around on the iPhone for quite a while, and I have to admit I skipped it until I saw it available for the Apple TV. And now it's actually become one of my favorite time killers. I definitely love the graphics of this game, and I think to call them unique would be a major understatement. It's nice to see something this different. So the main gist of this game is you flying around in a little ship on the surface of these pretty interesting 3D geometrical shapes. And to help you out, you get a little drone that flies around next to you, and each drone kind of has a special ability. So one is a sniper, and one kind of flies around you and acts like a shield. Another one protects your back, and there's probably about 6 or 7 different drones that you can upgrade to throughout the game. And I have to note, this is one of the best games on the Apple TV that works with that new Apple TV remote. So aside from that cool graphical style, there's actually a lot to like about this game. There's plenty of levels, tons of bosses, lots of upgrades, and also has a pretty cool soundtrack. So in order to upgrade your drone and your special abilities, you'll have to collect some of the in-game gems, or at least they look like gems. They're these little green things that fly out of enemies when you blow them up. So overall, I'd say this is a fun game that's quick to learn and really one of the few that's worth spending some actual real-world money on. All right, game number 2 is Asphalt 8. And I'm gonna catch a little flack for this because I know several other people have given this bad reviews for the Apple TV, but it's actually not bad. And I know this game has been around for a long time already on several different devices and platforms. That's not the point. On the Apple TV, this is fun. In fact, it's probably my favorite game on the Apple TV right now. Definitely the one I've spent the most time playing. Now, the graphics aren't amazing on this game. You'll definitely see some aliasing and some dropped frames, especially during some of the intro sequences. What I like about this game is to steer, you actually tilt the remote from left to right. And I find that that works a lot better than several other racing games on the Apple TV that force you to use the touchpad in order to steer. That doesn't seem to work the best. So this is definitely an arcade game. You can get speed boosts and do tricks when you fly off of jumps, and it's not very realistic. But actually, I find that that adds a lot to the game, especially in multiplayer, because if you know how to take advantage of those different power-ups, then it really gives you an edge. Now, here's a pro tip. Don't pay too much attention to the different car classes. Whatever class you're in, that's who you're going to race against. So don't think that you're going to spend a ton of money on a Lamborghini and then beat all those Dodge Darts that are racing around. As soon as you buy that Lamborghini, you're going to be competing against other Lamborghinis. So everything basically evens out more or less, depending on which class you're racing in. Now, if you're looking for a more casual game and you're not really into shooters or racing games, then check out Bullet Boy. Now, this is kind of a bizarre game where you play a kid wearing a bullet-shaped helmet that flies out of cannons racing through a level. I realize that sounds really weird, but it's actually a lot of fun. Now, the game controls are simple to the core. All you ever have to do is click one button to launch out of a cannon. But there are plenty of variables that help keep this fresh and challenging. For instance, there are several types of cannons, one that's stationary, one that's moving, and one that even rotates. And then there are the upgrades, like a rubber helmet, to bounce off of stuff, which actually lets you access different parts of levels that you wouldn't be able to normally, and a drill hat, which lets you drill right through anything in your path. Now, the graphics definitely won't blow you away, but the gameplay is cool. And what I like about this game is that you can sit down and play it for as little or as long as you like, because the levels are pretty short. Now, there's some kind of subplot happening, something about collecting statue pieces. I haven't really been paying attention to that. All right, the fourth game to check out is Oceanhorn. Oceanhorn, Zelda. Oceanhorn, Zelda. Different names, same exact thing. All right, so this is a mostly top-down adventure game with pretty interesting graphics where you walk around trying to solve a mystery, and just like Zelda, you're walking around looking for treasure chests and signs and meeting people, all of which provide clues to help you beat the game. And what I actually like about this game is that it's a little bit more engrossing than just an arcade game. The story's only so-so, but at least it's fun to make progress and explore the different caves and corners of every island. The main action here is less about fighting and shooting and more about trying to solve puzzles. All right, finally, the last game I want to cover before I get to a few that you should definitely avoid is called Skyforce. Skyforce is basically your typical top-down shoot-'em-up scroller game, just with better graphics. Basically, you're flying a plane that, big surprise, auto-shoots, and it's up to you to make sure that those shots hit enemy planes and boats. To make things a little bit less repetitive, you also have to rescue hostages and avoid getting hit yourself. And like some of the other games that I mentioned, you can find some upgrades that can keep things from getting too stale. Now, the bosses in this game are absolutely insane. There's one thing I can't stand though, and it's the voice that's always telling you, "Weapon upgrade." Personally, to be honest, I'd replace this game instantly on this list if Shooty Skies came to the Apple TV, but it's not available quite yet. Now, there are a few other games that I've played that I can endorse that maybe didn't make this list, but are definitely worth checking out. Those include Rayman Adventures, Crossy Road, and Snowboard Party 2. Now, here are some games that you need to avoid at all costs. Don't buy them, don't download them, don't waste your time. Galaxy on Fire, Manticore Rising. This game is so boring. Number 2, Fantastic Plastic. This is one of those games with those tricky screenshots that makes it look fun, but has very little action. Number 3, Battle Supremacy Evolution. I really wanted to like this game, but I just couldn't get into it. Number 4 is Breakneck. This game is so lame that it's almost embarrassing. Number 5, Zen Pinball. This game got me to download it because it promised me some Star Wars content. That was a big mistake. All right, guys, that is it for this video. If I missed something that you like, make sure to leave me a comment. Maybe we'll do a follow-up video later this year. Otherwise, I appreciate you checking out this video, and if you could give me a thumbs up if you liked it, that would be awesome. It really does help to spread the word. Otherwise, I'll catch up with you in the next video. Later.
Shall we begin? Let's begin.